I told you guys I wanted to try to keep this video as authentic and as raw as possible because I feel like ultimately that's what's going to keep you guys here while everyone is heading towards artificial intelligence. I just want to be that one thing that people can hold on to that still feels a little human, still feels a little real. And speaking of being real, I dropped a short this morning that simply is the motivation of today's video. And it's all about us as men, as fathers, just as humans, just having fear within us. And if we experience it, how do we process it? And what goes through our mind as we move through life, just being afraid of certain things. And I mentioned that specifically as men, the one thing that we can do is just do more admitting that we are afraid of things, that we actually are fearful of certain things that we experience in our lives, right? And especially as fathers too, because just raising kids, I feel like they just experience so many feelings that they just simply can't process and don't know how to process. And it's up to us to not only teach them how to process those feelings, but show them how we process feelings as they come and go. But going back to my point, to be honest, I'm afraid. I'm afraid of quite a few things, and this is going to be a video about my own vulnerability as well. I'm afraid of a handful of things, right? Like, for example, like starting this channel, talking to this camera, even doing so in front of family and friends, like just the fear of being judged, right? Like when I release these videos, will I be talked about? You know, will people make fun of me? Like I'm not the best speaker, right? Like will they look at this and clip it and I don't know, like all those fears, right? But I think that feeling right there is one of the biggest problems we sometimes have as individuals. When we start feeling fear, we fixate so much on the outcomes of things that it simply paralyzes us to the point where we don't take any any action at all. And that one simple thing could literally change and derail your entire life. It could stop you from seeing the things that you want to see in this world. It can stop you from talking to that person at that bar. It could stop you from creating that business that you've always wanted. It could stop you from starting a YouTube channel. And I do feel like one of the biggest things it could stop you from is really living the life that you want to live and becoming the person you ultimately feel like you want to become. You know, so I know that was a handful there, but that one word is such a derailer for a lot of us. I heard this acronym for fear, and it's false expectations appearing real. And so for me, when I hear that, I just hear how fake a lot of the things that we think about or the outcomes that we think about are, right? So for example, like you wanting to ask your boss for a raise, before you even think about asking her or him for that raise, you're already playing the multitude of scenarios and the outcomes that could come out of you simply just asking for something that you deserve. And the crazy thing is, all the outcomes that you think about are just negative. They're negative, right? You're thinking about what if they get mad that I ask? What if they turn me down? What if I get fired? But how about you flip that around, right? What if they entertain the idea of giving you a raise? What if they actually give you the raise? What could that do, like, for your life? You know, what if they did give you a raise? And then if that were to happen, you could literally take that one experience and just live that way. And once you feel that fear, you now are equipped with evidence that there are other outcomes that could come out of just conquering the fear. Because in reality, like, what's really holding us back, right? Like, we're just holding us back. And it's crazy that we allow ourselves to do that. And I've done that multiple times. So this is more so a talk to myself. And like I said, I just want to just share my thoughts and feelings and share the things that I experience, because we have like so many commonalities in this world. Like, we have the same feeling, the same thoughts, the same struggles, and this is why doing this is so beneficial. I wish more people could do it. I know it's nerve-wracking, but it could simply like change a lot of folks out there. So what are some of the things that you can do when you feel fear? I know the one thing that I've equipped myself with in the last few months or so is, whenever I felt afraid of something, I would always just try to push it off, just ignore it, just slide it out the way. But the one thing that I've been doing lately is I've been inviting it and exploring the feeling. Like, I'll sit and even sometimes journal what the fear is. And I realized that the faster, the more I did that, the more I invited that feeling, the faster I can investigate it. And then the faster I can investigate it, I've noticed that the feeling would pass extremely fast. So I would probably say that is one tip that's seriously like changed so much for me in the last few months or so. So we'd love to hear what are some of the things that you guys do when you're afraid to do something, like when you're like feeling that fear of starting something new or whatever it is that you're doing in your life. But yeah, that was a lot. But I would love to keep this conversation going in the comments. Like I mentioned in the first video, I would love for the comment section to be more of like a forum, right? I have a huge goal of just building a massive community of people who are looking to just better themselves. So let's just continue to have the conversation in the comments, and I'm going to continue to drop these videos. I'm not really on a schedule yet for these videos, but I just want to build the consistency of pressing post and continuing to eliminate the fear I have of being consistent with this. So if you've stuck with me this far, I appreciate you. And I continue to love to welcome you back for more videos.